hello one more time. And I will use my podcaster voice, and I will say, live from London, this is Ron Thurston at the Life Cycle 25 conference, ready to do our last and final episode here. So welcome, ladies. Excited to have this conversation. So we'll start maybe with some quick introductions. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and your role, a little bit about your company. I'll start with you, Susanna.
So I'm Susanna Bartlett. I'm head of marketing at Furniture Village. So we are a furniture retailer. We've got 57 stores across the UK, family-run business, so really lovely business to work for. And I've been there 9 years in total.
Wow. Always in the same role?
No, and I did leave for a period in between, so I've done 2 stints there.
Thank you. Thank you. Lucy.
Hello everyone, so I'm Lucy, I'm head of CRM at Astrid Miyu. I've been there for about 4 years, kind of building up the CRM function. Astrid Miyu is a jewellery brand that's looking to revolutionise the jewellery experience. So we work a lot around experience, we've got a lot of stores in the UK, and we're also expanding globally as well.
Great, thank you so much. Sandra.
Hi, I'm Sandra Varley from Interflora. Hopefully you know what Interflora is, especially the guys in the audience for Valentine's Day. I'm head of Flying Flowers, so I'm responsible for all of the strategy and the trading of the brand. I've been around since pre-digital, so I've been on quite a career journey and to get me to this point, and that includes retraining as a florist midway. I love my job. It's a beautiful medium to work with flowers and connect people every day with flowers. It's a pretty special environment to work in. I'm very lucky.
Thank you so much. And I'll start with you, Sandra, because the goal of this conversation is to really talk about the customer experience, customer expectations, digital into real life. And you're a purpose-led brand. And so tell us what that means, how it shows up, why it's important to your client.
So I have to say, from my own experience, I've been through so many things, and Interflora has gone on a journey in the last 2.5 years, to define its purpose. And I can honestly say it's been the most exciting and exhilarating thing that I've gone through. Hopefully, most of you are aware of what a purpose-led business is. It's not a marketing strapline. It's not a mission statement. It's actually what we want to be, what action and impact we want to make on our world and our people. It's a very great thing to empower everybody in your team and in every single department. And it's pretty special, but we also recognise that actually in order to be purpose-led, you have to be commercially successful. The two aren't, independent as such. You have to, in order to deliver some purpose initiatives, you have to have that profitability in order to do it. It's enabled all of our colleagues to get involved to actually define that purpose. We haven't just, as leaders, created something. And what we're seeing is some real everyday changes in the culture of how we work. It's how we show up every day. It's how we treat each other. It's how we treat our suppliers, our customers, and actually how we do make changes and actions beyond what we do as a business, which is obviously sending flowers out every day of the week.
Beautiful.
It's really exciting. I love it.
It's very exciting. How does that show up for your customer? So I get this sense of how it feels maybe in the office. How does it feel for your customer when you describe that you're a purpose-led business? So
I think what we've done as part of the journey is we've realised to some extent we've always had purpose. We just didn't articulate it very well. And so I think it's enabling us to communicate in more meaningful ways with our customers and actually talk about things that are associated with what we do, but not necessarily directly related. Okay. So, for example, on Flying Flowers, we've really embraced the British flower growing community. We used to be big flower growers in the 1950s and years ago when actually you couldn't source flowers from overseas so easily. And so we've we've identified that actually that's something that customers really value. They like the idea of buying local, and so that's part of one of our big purpose passions is to really promote the people behind the blooms that they're receiving or buying for their friends and family. So similar to what you see with things like meat and vegetables, where you find out the stories of the people behind it and the passion that goes into every stem.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Lucy, just jumping to you, because I think of the three brands right now, you're the most omni of the three, because Susie has a larger, primarily store count, and Sandra's primarily digital. So how does that show up for you, for your customer, and that consistency?
Yeah, so we started as quite a London-centric brand in terms of stores, but a big part of our brand is our services that we deliver. So you can come to us and get a piercing, a tattoo, a welded bracelet. We also do bespoke jewellery now. So it was really important to deliver that experience to our customers. And then when we kind of, I guess, gauged an appetite for it, we started to grow our store footprint. So we're lucky now that we've got kind of over 20 stores across the UK. We've also got a store in New York, a store in Amsterdam, and we've also got a couple of stores in Ireland. So for us, it's the experience of Astrid Miyu which is so important for that omni-channel piece. So yes, you can shop online with our product, but we also want our customers coming into store and experiencing everything that we can offer. So something we've really focused on in the past few years is our loyalty program, and that really is our omni-channel driver. So we relaunched Club A&M last year, and it's been a great mechanic for getting customers in store and experiencing us as a brand.
And you had mentioned to me about doing events and building community too. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I think, it's obviously great for customers that we've got a points-based reward system. They shop with us and they earn points that they can spend later on. But actually what we've discovered is customers want more now than points. They want to experience a brand for who it really is. So what we've started to do is invite select groups of customers to VIP dinners, launches of certain products. We had a dinner last year for some of our top clients who purchased our advent calendar. And not only is it a great opportunity to bring our customers together and they have made friends and it's really lovely, but it's also a great chance for us to see our customers up close and personal in real life. So nice. And it's, unlocked a lot of kind of insight, which has been amazing.
And what I love about what you're describing is that doesn't have to be exclusively for luxury. You're a contemporary, I would describe it, contemporary price point, yet you're creating this community and these events and rewarding top spenders as a luxury brand. And I think that's the future of retail in many ways.
Yeah, I think, to some people, Astrid Miyu is their luxury. So I think thinking about how we can leverage those kind of more, I guess, traditional luxury clienteling ideas and that side of things into our business has been really successful, and customers love it. So going well so far.
Great, thank you so much. So Susie, you have the largest store count, and it sounds like the bulk of your business happens in a store, which in a furniture business makes sense. So how does that experience show up? Why is this multi-generational, family-led business so successful?
I think it comes down to people, especially in store, because we invest a lot in training, but Peter and Charlie, who are the owners of the business, they really care about making sure everyone feels rewarded, and they send a handwritten, but there's probably 1,200 employees now in the business, and everyone gets a handwritten birthday card on their birthday, and it's little touches like that make a really nice change. And because of that, we've got really long service. So there's plenty of, you walk into a Furniture Village store and there'll be people, the business just turned 35 years old last year, but there'll be people that have been there from the beginning and people that have been, a good handful of people that have been with the business for 25 years. So there's all of that experience and knowledge and care that you just can't really replicate without that type of experience. So I think customers really feel it, and we see it coming through in our reviews that people really feel that when they walk into a store, and there's a lot of product knowledge because we invest a lot in training our people on the product. So they might go out to Italy and look at where the stone is coming from the quarry for a particular dining table, and they can really relive that experience with the customer. Right. So it is it's a really lovely thing about the business is the people.
At the same time, trying to grow also an omni business, growing kind of your e-commerce. What's your focus on that?
I think obviously it's definitely an area that we want to grow. We don't necessarily want to replace that in-store experience because of the nature of the product. People want to come in and they want to feel it and they want to touch it, and you can't necessarily get away from that. But what we know more and more is that people are going online and then they're going in store and then they're going back online. So the journeys are really complicated, and I feel like replicating that experience online is really important. So for us, it's things like our lifestyle photography. We invest quite a lot in that, in making sure that we really kind of show the product well to people before they come in store. How we talk about the products and the copy and the descriptions, and bringing it to life with product reviews, and trying to kind of replicate that as much as possible, but without really taking away from the kind of fundamental need to try it out.
Right. Thank you so much. So interesting. Lucy, I'll go back to you, thinking about building, again, an omni business and the complexity of that consistency, kind of what Susie's saying, consistency of in-store experience versus consistency of e-commerce, marketing channels. Like, tell us how you're doing some of that today.
Yeah, I mean, we've worked really hard to make sure that every kind of touch point in the business is saying the same thing, especially about loyalty. So hopefully the customer is receiving quite a consistent kind of experience across, if they're in a store with us or online, which has been really important, and it's taken time to kind of instill that across teams, especially our retail teams. However, there was something we launched mid last year, which has really kind of driven that omni-channel experience, and all teams have been behind it, and that was our digital loyalty card. So this kind of happened at the same time that we relaunched our loyalty program, but it's essentially a card that our customers can add to their wallet. It shows what tier they're in our program, and how many points they've got. And it's a very customer-driven experience. So the customer will come into store with their card, they'll scan it on the POS. The store team will then see who the customer is, how many points they have, what they've purchased before, but the customer's getting that really seamless kind of experience. So no matter if they're shopping online to try and redeem their points, or in store, they're having that same consistent experience.
Right.
So yeah, consistency's been key, especially for rolling things out.
Right.
Like our digital loyalty card.
Yeah, because that was one of the challenges that many brands had, is the e-commerce experience or the return policies or the pricing was different than the in-store. And what you're describing, it's seamless. You're moving back and forth fluidly between channels, which is the ultimate expression of what that means. So
Yeah.
it sounds like it's working.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it comes with its challenges, and we've had to work really hard on the training
Sure.
piece and kind of building relationships across the business. But I think kind of going back to how Astrid Miyu actually functions as a business, we're very kind of highly communicative across teams, and I think that's really enabled us to roll these sorts of things out.
Mm-hmm. And Sandra, I'll jump to you. This idea of like very loyal, very customer-centric businesses. How do you continue to communicate that, and how do you build those experiences being digital?
So we are completely digital, and like a lot of digital businesses, we know who our customer is, right? We know that her name's Brenda, she reads the Daily Mail, she goes to Sainsbury's to do her shopping, she lives in a rural area, etc. We've all got it. I mean, I've even been to businesses where there's a picture of Brenda on the wall. I've been really passionate with my team of actually, let's not generalize too much, and let's get under the skin of actually the fact that we have lots and lots of different customers with lots of different needs. And actually, we were discussing it before. I introduced the concept of actually bringing customers into our business, into our offices, to meet the team. And I actually paired every team member with a customer. And I can honestly say that none of them looked like Brenda. They were all very, very different. We had Linda. She was wearing bright, amazing clothes and fancy glasses, and she was a laughing yoga coach teacher. And prior to it, I can honestly say, and there's a couple of members of my team here today, they were terrified of meeting customers. It was like a completely alien concept, because we're behind this digital wall. And just that half a day with just a handful of customers unlocked so much opportunity around understanding the differences and nuances of customers, but also we ended the day with some really lovely relationships that were formed. And these are now brand ambassadors who share everything, they talk about everything, they tell all their friends. We sent them all a bouquet of flowers at Christmas, and we've built something rather beautiful, and we're going to keep doing it more and more. So I definitely say, totally recommend anyone that runs a digital business create opportunities, like you were saying, around experiences and things where you can bring customers together, because it's a really, really great thing, and you learn so much from it.
Sure. And maybe similar to what I was speaking with Andy a bit about, how do you use technology to support that experience? So what you're describing is very emotional and very human. What's the technology behind it to make that happen?
So we use an awful lot of segmentation, like many of us do. And what we try and do is create journeys that resonate with the behavior or the point at which the customer's in. So an example might be, at the moment, our favourite flowers have just gone live on the 1st of May, peonies. They're a real fan favourite. They're only ever available for a very short period of time. And so what we can do is we can actually talk to customers that bought them previously, because there's a very, very high chance they're going to buy them again because they love them so much. But also then we can talk about following up with them and how to care for their stems, and the fact that if you put them on your windowsill on a day like today, they're not going to last very long. And then we can follow that up again with stories about the person that actually grew those peonies for you, and what their journey is, and the family. Often these are generations of flower farmers. So we're using the customer, the segmentation to create some really nice kind of engaging stories. It's work in progress, but that's the way we're going.
Comes full circle. Yeah. Thank you. Susie, I'll go to you. The idea here that we're describing, and I know it's not this audience's responsibility as stores, but that's such an important part of your business. As you described, it started as a store business. It's become an omni business, but you mentioned how you invest in training and development and communication. Just tell us more about that.
I think communication is really important, and I think like the product training is something we're really good at, but we also try to we have regular meetings with all of the store managers. We'll talk to them about any new technology we're bringing on board, and I think over time we're going to start to harness it more to help them have more meaningful interactions with customers, because at the moment they're doing a great job just without the technology that could help them know a bit more about their customers as they come in. And we hear lovely stories from around the business that the sales consultants might know a family, they've been in and they've bought furniture from them 3 or 4 times over the year, and they know their children, and that's really lovely, but it's hard to kind of scale that, and it's hard to replicate that experience online. So I think we're definitely looking at, obviously we're quite early in our journey with Ametria. We've just completed IP warming probably about 6 weeks ago, so it's a big focus for the coming year is how we kind of build out those kind of CRM programs and the segmentation to be a bit more personalized with people. Because if I'm really honest, like, people don't buy furniture very often, and actually it's a really complicated purchase, and I don't know if it's probably a really long time ago now, it's probably 5 years ago, but there was that Google research on the messy middle and how complicated things can be when customers are trying to shop for certain products. And I think they grouped buying a sofa as a kind of really unenjoyable, complicated process that was grouped in with things like getting a mortgage. And really, buying a sofa should be exciting, and we should be able to kind of make that a lot more enjoyable for people. So that will be our focus.
Yeah. And maybe a similar question to Sandra. Is there technology behind that? No, for you, Susie, sorry. Similar question. Is there technology behind what you're doing for training? Susie, for you.
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
I think at the moment we are updating systems across the business, so technology has been a big challenge. I think what we're working on is replacing our kind of ERP system essentially. So it's massive. It touches every area of the business. But what it's going to do is give us a good solid foundation to build upon in terms of more structured data. Product data is a big challenge. I know someone touched on it earlier, but it's huge. The amount of kind of variance that you can have on a piece of furniture by the time you times the number of colours, by the number of feet options, by the different sizes, it does really kind of make it really, really complicated. So we do need better technology to kind of make it get to where we want to get to.
You'll get there.
Hopefully.
You will, for sure. I wanted to kind of take the last part of our conversation and forward think again. So Lucy, I'll go to you. You know, what thinking 5 years out, 10 years out, what are some of the big challenges, obstacles, things you're most excited about for Astrid?
Yeah, I mean, we've all spoken a lot about data today. I think there's just going to be so much of it. It's how we'll use it in an impactful and useful way. I think that's something that's definitely on my mind at the moment. My kind of, I guess, priority since joining Astrid Miyu was to kind of gather as many data points on the customer as possible. We're in a really good place now. We've run a lot of kind of data projects over the years, but I think thinking about everything we've seen today in terms of where AI will take us and the things that we'll start to learn about the customer, it will be a case of, okay, we've got all of this information, what can we do with it and how will we manage it? So, I mean, seeing what Ivan presented this morning, I think will help a lot with that, and that seems really exciting. So, yeah, I think that's where I'm at the moment.
And similar, Sandra, for you, when thinking the evolution of your business, what's like that 5-10 year most excited about, biggest challenges? Where do you see that evolving for Flying Flowers?
I'm in a really competitive market. Yeah. You know, ultimately, there are many other businesses that sell exactly what I sell every day. And so, you know, we're really focused on being us and not being distracted by all that. It's so easy, isn't it, to just go on a competitor website and go, oh my God, we're not doing that. So we're just really enjoying being us, and our point of difference is to be kind of just joyful and happy, and I think we just want to do more of that going forwards. And I think, if I'm honest, we don't have huge marketing budgets, certainly not on Flying Flowers. Interflora is a different matter, I have to say. But I think we're just looking at building our own tribe and getting our customers to do some of that hard work for us. And it's probably the slower route, but I personally feel it's certainly got a lot more longevity. It's certainly a lot more profitable, and I think it really does pay back if you invest time to really nurture those customers and, like I say, build a tribe and a following that then grows accordingly. And yeah, don't get distracted by all the other shiny things that might be happening.
Yeah, agreed. Thank you. Susie, same for you. What are you most excited about in the next 5 to 10 years for Furniture Village?
I think we're very focused at the moment on growing the store estate. So we're expanding into areas of the UK where we don't currently have stores. We've just opened our first store in Scotland, and there's in Edinburgh, and there's another one coming in Glasgow shortly. So that's really exciting from a kind of, you know, expansion into kind of slightly new territories for us. We've been focusing quite a lot on the channel mix, and I know we touched on media mix modelling earlier in one of the presentations, but actually we've done quite a lot of work on that recently to try and work out how we can kind of get more out of our... We've got a fairly big marketing budget because we're quite heavy on TV, as most of our sector are, but trying to really kind of get the most out of it as we can. But obviously with Emetria now on board, personalisation and just improving that customer experience, because we've always been really heavily focused on acquisition, and obviously people are not buying furniture all the time. So, but there is a big opportunity to kind of drive the retention a lot more and make sure we're kind of front of mind for all of those kind of moments when they do need new furniture.
Yeah. Very nice. I'm going to ask an off-script question, because this is the question I always ask on my show, and all three of you have teams in the audience. So don't worry, I'm not going to scare you. What are you most proud of to work for the brands that you work for today? I'll let anyone start.
Do you want me to start?
Sure.
What am I most proud of? I saw a LinkedIn post recently that said, should you say to your staff you're proud of them? Because it could be a bit patronising. I tell my team I'm proud of them all the time. I've got a really small team, and I can honestly say if things don't go to plan, they are the ones, they stay, they work later. They never, ever say, that's not my job. And I've seen that so often in businesses where they get bigger and broader, that people stay in their silos, and you lose that wonderful kind of collaborative connection of individuals solving a problem or looking for creative things to work forward. And every member of my team know we get stuff done. We fail fast. We explore new ways. No one ever gets told off for making a mistake, because that's how we learn and we build. And I think I'm really, really proud of that, if I'm honest. They're amazing.
I love that answer.
Don't leave. They're right at the back, I can see them.
I think I'd have to echo everything you just said about my team as well. At Astrid Miyu, we have 3 kind of really core values that are really important to everything that we do, and they're celebrate each other, break all boundaries, and grow together. And I feel like everything we do and every project that we roll out, they really embody those values. And I think there's never a case of, that's not my job. And it keeps us moving forward and not looking back at things that perhaps haven't worked as well. But we're always looking to the future.
Love that. Thank you. How about you, Susie?
I think similar, really. It's obviously the people that we work with are just amazing, and I think I've already mentioned the whole, the family business, but it does really feel like everyone is like pulling together towards the same goals, and that does come from communication, but also just we've got really good people who really care. But also I think the way we continually try to innovate, and it is a funny business in that most of our messaging is sale, and everyone knows that most furniture businesses are always in sale. So there's only so many times you can kind of say the same thing in different ways and make it fresh and make it interesting. And we've got a really good in-house creative team, my team that are all working across all the brand advertising as well as CRM and the digital channels. And they're just constantly kind of, coming up with new ideas to make it better. So it's really, really good.
Good. And last question, just maybe one piece of advice you would give to the audience about your work or the topics that we've covered today. I'll stay with you, Susie.
I think you have to start with the customer, and whether it's online or in store, really kind of understand your customer, do your research, know what they value most, because essentially it's great to have data, it's great to have technology, but really you need to build an experience around what those people want. So that would be my advice.
Very nice, thank you. Lucy?
So we ran some community focus groups recently, and it was kind of invaluable to collecting that data or insight on the customer that you would never gather from, what you get in a Metria, for example. So I think my advice would be to try and meet that customer in different scenarios and really focus on gathering feedback from them to kind of empower what you're doing on another level.
Very nice. Excuse me, Sandra?
I think we have a tendency, don't we, to look at what's not working or what's broken or what can we fix. And actually, I spend quite a lot of time really looking at the positives that are out there. So every Friday, if I've got time, I take half an hour out of my day and I go on our Trustpilot site and I look at all the amazing things that our customers are saying, because actually we focus on the 1-star reviews, the 2-star reviews when things aren't going wrong. So I look at the 5-star reviews, and if you guys use Trustpilot, I'd recommend spend half an hour replying to customers that have said really nice things about your business, because they will get that reply, it will mean a lot to them, and they'll shop with you again. So that's like 5, 10, 20 customers every week that you get. Within our team, we share our favourite review every week. We sometimes even share I'm not going to lie, little message cards that people send, because that's what we're here to do. That's what our job is. So take that time to share all those wonderful positives, because it really does feel good when you do it, and it unlocks so many other positive things from it.
Yeah, and I would add, often the 1 star that you've solved their problem can be some of your biggest promoters too.
Yeah.
So celebrate the 5, but recognize the 1 too.
We've had a recent issue. I have to say it's not as bad as Marks and Spencer's, but we did have a bit of a challenge recently, which meant we couldn't take any orders for a few days, which was pretty crushing for the team. And we actually had we contacted all customers immediately to let them know what we were doing and how we were handling it. And one customer replied to us and said, please send my best wishes to the Flying Flowers team, because they work so hard and they don't deserve this.
Oh.
Beautiful.
I know. I could cry now. I nearly did at the time. But you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
That's how these things can build a tribe and a wonderful community.
How we all get better. Great. Thank you. Thank you, ladies, for being the 3rd episode of our podcast today. I very much appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.